guys, so today I'm going to show you a really cool card trick, and this is what it looks like. So when I tell people that I'm a magician, they automatically assume that I'm a cheater as well. And I'm here to prove to you guys today that magicians and cheaters are two completely separate things. And this is the main reason why. The main reason is because magicians only have to use one single deck of cards to perform all these different card tricks and all these different miracles. But cheaters, they have to rely on using two decks of cards. So today I'm going to show you a little demonstration of what a cheater would do. And since I'm not a cheater, I'm a magician, I only need to use one single deck of cards for this demonstration. But I will be showing you guys what cheaters do. So what I've done is I've taken this deck of cards and I've actually split it into black cards and red cards. And this is going to simulate having two different decks of cards. So just pretend like this would be a red deck and this would be the black deck of cards. So what deck switching is all about? They use two decks for something called deck switching. And what that is let's say the spectator selects a card in one deck and the cheater secretly has another deck in his pocket. So when the spectator selects a card and they're looking at the card, they're only focusing on that card. That means the cheater has all the time in the world to take this deck of cards and switch it out for another deck of cards in his pocket. Let's say that deck is a completely blank deck of cards. So when the spectator places the card back inside the now blank deck, the cards can be shuffled and now the cheater can look through and their selection will be the only normal card in that deck, and it will be very obvious to find that card. So I'm going to show you a little demonstration of that using the red and black cards. So I'll go ahead and I'll just take all the red cards for now, and I'll go ahead and place them here inside of the card case, just like this. You guys can see all the red cards going in there. And for the black cards, we can use just a couple of cards. We'll just use these three cards. It doesn't really matter what they are. We have a 3, queen, and a king. So let's pretend we have 3 spectators and they've chosen these 3 cards from the black cards. Now, we're gonna lose these cards back into the pack like this. So now we just have 3 random black cards from a completely random black deck of cards. And now all these cards can be shuffled just like this. And it looks completely fair at this point. Now this is when the deck switch happens. See, this is actually how a magician does a deck switch. What the magician does, they don't even have to touch their pocket. All they have to do is just kind of hover over the box like this as they talk to the spectator. See, with my hand gestures, I'm kind of getting closer and closer to the box, but I never actually touch it. And this is the moment when the black deck of cards actually becomes the red deck of cards, as you can see. Every single card is red, but there's 1, 3 of clubs right there, but every single card is red except for the 3 selections. And this is how the cheater would be able to distinguish the selections out from the other cards. And as you can see, every card here is completely red. And that only means that those red cards that we placed inside of the box, that should now mean, if I open them up, look at that, we actually now have all black cards, just like that. And that right there is the trick, guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this pretty cool little color transposition where one half of the deck changes places with the other half of the deck inside of the box. I think it's a pretty cool, nice visual effect. And it also gives you the opportunity to sort of teach the spectators about deck switching, which they may or may not know about already. And this is just a really fun visual way to teach them about it. So this trick is actually pretty simple. It really only requires one sleight. It's not the hardest sleight in the world. And you can also do it with misdirection, which means the spectators won't even be looking at your hands while you're doing the move. And that means they probably won't even catch it in the first place. So I'm going to show you guys how to perform this trick right now. So all you need is a normal deck of cards. There is a little bit of a setup involved. So the first thing is you want to split the cards into red and black beforehand. That's pretty simple, right? And then one other thing you want to do is you want to have the red cards on the bottom and the black cards on the top. So one thing you want to set up with the red cards is you want to take out any pair of cards. Let's say the 2 red 9s in this case. It doesn't matter which one is in which order, but all you want to do is take one of the 9s, place it on the bottom, and 1 9, place it on the top like this. So you have 1 9 on top, 1 9 on the bottom. And these can be any cards. They can be kings, aces, doesn't matter what they are, but you want to have 2 soulmates on the top and the bottom. The black cards can be completely shuffled. It does not matter what order these cards are in. One thing you do want to do though is you want to take out a card with the same value as the pair that you're using. So the 9, you can take out any black 9, the 9 of spades or the 9 of clubs, doesn't matter which one. You're actually going to be placing it face up inside of the box like this. So when you place it face up in the box, you're gonna have this card secretly inside the entire trick. Then what you're gonna do is take these side flaps, make sure these side flaps are closed in. Then you're gonna take the main flap here, you're gonna close it down and press in like this. And now you can have an entire deck of cards opened, but there's gonna be one card hidden behind this flap, and that card's not gonna go anywhere because the flap is closed on top of it. So that card is stuck inside of the box, which is perfect. Now what you can do is take all the other cards and just slide them inside of this hole right here, just slide them inside of the box, just like that. And now you're ready to perform the trick. So you go up to your spectator and you tell them that magicians and cheaters are two different things, and you're gonna show a little demonstration of what cheaters will do, because cheaters have to use 2 decks of cards, but magicians, they're much better than cheaters. They only have to use 1 deck of cards. So what you're gonna do now is take all the cards out of the box. You can either tip them out in your hand, or you can just kind of dig in with your fingers there. It just makes it a little bit easier. And then all you have to do is set the box down, but make sure that the hole isn't facing the spectator. Make sure the spectators don't see this hole. Make sure they only see the back of the box here. So just place the box down over here. And now you can take the cards out, spread the cards out on the table, and show the spectator that you've taken the time beforehand to split the cards into red and black. And this will represent 2 different decks of cards, like a red deck and a black deck. This is where the one sleight of hand move comes into play. This is called the turnover pass. It's basically a way to cut the deck of cards in the action of actually turning the deck over. So this is going to be my little brief tutorial of the turnover pass. But if you guys want to see a really great in-depth tutorial, I would recommend checking out Alex Pandrea's tutorial of the turnover pass. He has some great tips that will really help your turnover pass look completely invisible. And to the spectator, it just looks like this. It just looks like you're flipping over the deck of cards, but you're secretly cutting the deck of cards in the process. So this is how it works. You're gonna spread out all the cards like this. When you see the top card of the red pile right here, you're gonna stop spreading. Keep your finger on the second card here, the second red card, because this is actually the point at which you're going to cut the deck. This is the point where you're gonna secretly cut the deck, and you're gonna spread out the cards, but you have your index finger on that 5 diamonds right there in this case. What you're gonna do is square up the cards and catch a break just like this. So you're gonna catch a little pinky break, separating those 2 halves of the deck, and now you're gonna perform the turnover pass, which looks something like this. And now the cards have been cut like this. Now you secretly switch the order around. So how you're gonna do this is you have your little break. Your right hand is gonna come over, and it's only gonna contact the top half of the deck above the break over here. So your right hand's gonna come over, go to the left edge of the top half over here. So your hand is gonna be basically holding the cards in this position. And what your left hand is gonna do secretly underneath the right hand, this pack, you're gonna basically take your fingers here, and you're going to be squeezing the packet a little bit like this with your fingers. Your pinky's gonna pull down, and that is going to cause the cards to sort of rotate like this. I used to do the turnover pass with my index finger curled underneath, but I found out that that actually just makes the move look really bad. It just makes it look like you're doing something. But if you have your index finger just constantly sticking out like this, it looks way more natural and it doesn't look like you're doing a move. So keep your index finger out and only contact the packet with the pinky and ring finger. You can also use the middle finger for a little bit of extra support, but your thumb should not really be touching the cards. Your thumb should not be pressing up like this. It should just be out, okay? So when you have this action down, what you're going to be doing is doing this under the cover of the right hand packet like this. You're going to angle your hands down a little bit, and you're going to separate your hands just ever so slightly so that you have a little bit of room to rotate this packet. So when you rotate this packet, you're going to take your right hand, your index finger is going to go on the side, and you're also going to rotate the right hand packet just like this. And when you rotate it, everything is going to come together face down, and then you can square up the cards just like this, and then you will set the cards down. And like I said, this move can be done with misdirection, so you would just be talking to the spectator. You can ask them if they know what a deck switch is, and this would be the perfect opportunity. So this would be an example of what the misdirection would look like. So over here we have the cards that I've split into red and black. We'll go ahead and set them over there, but I just wanted to ask you, have you actually ever heard of a deck switch? And they say yes, they say no. Right there, I've done the move. As you're asking that question, as they're thinking about the answer, you're gonna do the move, set the cards down. And they're not gonna notice a thing because they're gonna be thinking to themselves, oh, what's a deck switch? So once you do that move, you're now in this position. So this is what the deck of cards looks like. So you've secretly moved the red cards to the top and the black cards to the bottom. But since this 9 of hearts is here, it looks like it's the same red card that they were seeing on the bottom of the deck the entire time. So later, when you flip it over, it looks like you've done nothing. You set this down, and now you're gonna talk about what a deck switch is. You're gonna talk about how a cheater would do a deck switch in their pocket and say that now you're gonna show a little demonstration of this, but you don't even need to use your pocket. What you're gonna do now is pick up the deck like this, hold it face up, and now what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut roughly half the deck, but you don't wanna cut exactly half. You wanna cut a little bit less than half of the deck because you wanna leave some black cards behind. And I would say roughly 2 or 3 would be perfectly fine. And it's gonna be different every single time because you're just sort of estimating. So when you estimate, all you wanna do is just make sure you see some black cards over there and just make sure that when you cut, you don't see a red card because that would be bad. But you do want to see a black card. So let's say right about there is fine. So I've cut less than half of the deck. I'm gonna set the black pile down. And now I'm gonna take the red pile. I'm gonna place the red pile inside of the box. Now, because of this red card, it looks like all these cards are red. But in reality, all of these cards are black. So what happens when you place this inside of the box, and make sure you place it in the box the right way. You wanna place it in facing up like this. You're gonna take the flap, you're gonna open it up like you're gonna put it inside of the box. And you're gonna place all of the cards behind your secret card inside of the box. So all the cards are gonna go behind this secret black 9 there in the box. And the spectator's not gonna see this because you can actually just hold the flap up like this. So this is what they see. They're not gonna see anything sneaky. It looks like you're taking all the red cards and you place them in the box, and that part of the trick is done. You can close the box and you'll get back to that later. So now at this point, it looks like this is all black cards, but in reality, you actually have all red cards except for just a couple of black cards on the bottom. So now all you need to do is count how many black cards are on the bottom, and you do this by just spreading the cards out to yourself because you're gonna act like you want the spectator to choose some cards, and then you're gonna be like, oh, you know what, never mind, we'll just use some cards on the bottom. And since I spread out, I saw there were 4 cards there, so I'm gonna peel off 4 cards and I'm gonna show, okay, 1, 2, 3, and on the last one, I'm just gonna do a wrist kill like this. So I'm gonna turn my wrist down so they don't see this red card because that would be bad. They think these are all black. So make sure you just wrist kill, set the deck down, and now it looks like you've just taken 4 random black cards, and you can ask the spectators to memorize these, but it doesn't really matter. They don't really need to remember them because these cards are actually the only black cards in the pile, and they will be seeing them later. So you can go ahead and lose all these cards in the pack freely, doesn't matter, and you can shuffle the cards as much as you like. Just don't do it face up. When I'm done shuffling the cards, what I'm gonna do is just secretly do a little 360 spin, or a 180 spin actually, to myself so I can actually see what the bottom card is. And all I wanna do is make sure that this is a red card, because sometimes you can shuffle the cards and it will land on a black card like this, and that would not be good because what you're gonna be doing is showing that the card turns red. So you just wanna make sure that you have a red card there, so that would be fine. So I would just check if there's a red card, okay, great. So at this point, you're gonna explain, this is now the point when the cheater would do the deck switch. But the truth is you're actually completely ahead of the spectator. You've already switched the 2 halves of the deck like way before, like a couple of minutes ago. You're gonna explain that it's all in the hand gestures as you're talking to the spectator. You're gonna point out and see, look, see my hand, it's getting closer and closer to the box, but I'm never actually going to touch the box because all it takes is just a little wave. And just like that, I now have the red cards. And that little revelation right there is just really, really nice, really visual. It shows that suddenly you now have red cards, even though they just saw those black cards. So now at this point, you can do 2 things. You can either spread the cards out on the table and just show those 4 black cards, or you can just go one by one and then pull out these selections one at a time like this. So you can go through and deal through and show that now every single card is red except for those 4 black cards, meaning that now this is how the cheater would do the deck switch, because now they can see that clearly these are the only black cards in the deck. And now you say, now since these are all red, that now means that all those red cards inside of the box that we just put in there, you can now open the box and take out the black cards. And because of this cover card, it looks like now they've just magically changed into black. And all you have to do now is you can either do a fan like this, or you can just spread out the cards, but you want to make sure that you don't reveal this second to last card here on the bottom. So I would recommend doing a fan like this, because then you can secretly hide that card underneath. And then when you're done, you can just like cull that card underneath or something if you would like to. and then you can place everything together. And now you can spread out the cards and have the spectator check out everything at this point. And now, yeah, the box is empty. Everything is completely examinable. So yeah, that is the trick, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a pretty cool little trick I came up with recently. And yeah, I hope you guys like it. See you guys next time. Bye.